It looks like South Park has won back over the mainstream once again, following their episode on Donald Trump, where they bring back Satan, who was previously featured being with Saddam Hussein, who is now with Donald Trump, apparently, and is pregnant by him. And basically that was the episode. It also apparently touched on covering up the Epstein files. And I mean, we already have the Epstein files when you're talking about Hollywood. It's decades on film. You just have to look up and see, 12-year-old Brooke Shields kissing an adult male, a toddler, Shirley Temple in Burlesque, Cuties, which was released in the 2020s, among many other things. But yeah, the main reason why I'm talking about this is not because I'm outraged about it. It just yet another example of this false narrative that South Park goes at everyone. Because last time I checked, there was no President Joe Biden episode. I mean, there was plenty of material. He's pretty much walking around like Weekends at Bernie's. He had a son who was doing coke and was caught on video and photos engaging in drug abuse and sex with prostitutes. Not to mention that he had an affair with his brother's widow. So there's plenty of material to touch on with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But as far as I'm aware of, there was no episode. But there's an episode on Trump. And it's not a big deal because he's been the easy target since he ran for president. And when they do touch on the left side of things, like that episode talking about Disney, it was still light, to say the least. I mean, the way they go in, for instance, when it comes to Christians, when it comes to like Tom Cruise and Scientology, is nowhere near how they go in on the left. It's always softball as far as I'm concerned. Because there's so many things to make light of. But even when you barely touch them, of course they complain. But the reason why they're still protected is because, at the end of the day, they're libtards who will always, turn up the volume when they are touching on the right side of things. And again, completely avoided lambasting Joe Biden when there was plenty of material. And I'm sure if they did anything about Barack Obama, it was with kid gloves. But I don't even think they did Obama episodes. And so, clearly the hypocrisy is there. But another reason why they're protected, I just found out because someone highlighted on Twitter when they were, talking about this episode. Apparently, they have both appeased divestors. Matt Stone is still married to his black woman. And the other guy, Trey Parker, he was married to a half-breed black woman and had kids with her. And I don't even think most Negroes are even aware that they are married or have married black women. And so that's another layer of protection. Because even if you offend the left, well, they look at your personal life and they say, okay, neither one has procreated or been married to white women. In fact, they've been with women of color, and specifically black women. And so, yeah, that gets you a lot of layers of protection, even when on the off chance you make an offense on the left side of things. But yeah. And this is the same network, by the way, that South Park is under, Paramount. The same network that actively involved itself in election interference. Another thing that could have been discussed during one of these South Park episodes. But so many people were so thirsty for any comedic attacks against the left when they gave a little something, like with the Kathleen Kennedy thing, with the Macho Man thing, referencing the trans. People sopped it up like it was a huge big deal. And I remember that was the first time in forever I even bothered to check out South Park. And again, it was still softball stuff. Like if they did any of the material that I consistently see posted on Twitter, on social media, when they're making light of the left, if it's not matching that, at the very least matching it, it should be exceeding it. But if they're not matching what people are posting online, then they're not really doing anything. Meanwhile, when they attack the right, it's expected, it's typical. But, of course, the peanut gallery want to pretend that, oh, they don't give a F. They're badass. No, they're typical libtarded ass. That's all it is, man. It's just like go hard on both ends of it. But they don't. They never do. And they never will. And no one should expect that from Hollywood. Which is why, again, I'm always about weaponizing your wallet and no longer supporting the mainstream. Forget boycotting. Just turn the faucet off completely. And it's been well over 10 years now since I've spent any money on mainstream entertainment. And guess what? I've been able to manage to live and have enjoyment without being a consumer of pedal wood.